A lot. They're gonna love you a lot.
Success! Pudding!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man we've all been waiting for. And waiting for. That man is Marcus the Motivator.
G'day guys, Marcus the Motivator here. Today we are here with singer and songwriter Zsuzsika. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you, Marcus. How are you?
I am very, very well. Now today we want to have a chat and learn about who you are, where you've come from, and hear your story about the motivation that you have to do what you want to do and have the drive you want to. So you're obviously a musician, and that's something you have a massive passion for doing. Tell us a bit about how that started for you.
Well, it started when I was a toddler.
Yep.
I've wanted to be a singer, since I could talk. I actually couldn't speak English until I was 6.
Yep.
I was born here, but my family were from Hungary.
Yep.
So I was singing songs in English, Olivia Newton-John songs, but I couldn't speak English until I started kinder. And then my dad was in the army. And then when he was finished, we moved back to Australia.
Yep.
And then that's all I've ever wanted to do. All I've ever wanted to do is sing. I've got so many photos of me singing and in musicals, plays and things like that. Just always wanted to be part of it. It's been a big part of my life and very important.
Yep. So obviously that family influence had a big factor.
Majorly. My dad, he was a musician.
Yep.
And he was in his country, my country. He was in a duo and he was in some bands as well. He could play any instrument. He was very multi-talented.
Yep.
And also my cousins as well. So especially on my dad's side of the family, there's a long line of musicians.
Yep.
So it's just in the blood.
So you said your family was original, I think, from what I read, you...
Born in Hungary.
So born in Hungary, and I think there's a bit of Polish or something
Yes,
there?
my dad's dad, my grandfather was Polish.
Yep.
And on my mum's side, my grandmother was born in Germany. But mainly Hungarian.
So how much of that kind of influence comes out in your music now, having that kind of background?
Majorly because it's just allowed me to really follow my dream. We're just a real musical family. My dad used to entertain all our guests with his guitar and, sing, and, we all joined in, and it was just something we did all the time. It was a family tradition, basically.
How enjoyable for you is that, now that you have the ability to kind of follow what you want to do, and it's something you grew up, and it's a massive party for, how much are you enjoying doing that now?
It's just amazing. It's surreal. I have always followed my dream, but I used to pursue as a hobby.
Yep.
And I was a background singer, and I was in band after band, but unfortunately, lack of commitment and things just fall apart. And I knew that I had to do this for myself.
Yep.
I had to be solo. And when my dad passed away, that was basically the kick up the butt. I had to just, do something about this. And even though I wanted to leave school at 18 to pursue music, my dad didn't let me, which is understandable. He wanted me to have an education. And then I had kids, and even though I was doing music in between all that, it's just now that I'm pursuing it as an actual career.
Yep. So tell me about, for you, when was your first actual performance? When was your first actual performance? When was that? When was that kind of, when was that point where your hobby kind of started turning into what you wanted to do?
Well, I was in a band.
Yep.
And I hadn't done any performances for a while.
Yep.
But the moment I joined Universal School of Music. I don't know if you've heard of that. They're a wonderful organisation, and they support artists, and they push artists out. They expose them so they can, get as much exposure and promote their songs and all that kind of stuff. And basically, through them, I started performing as a solo artist.
Yep.
And that was starting a year ago. And it's the best decision I ever made, because now I've become independent.
Yep.
I'm not relying on other people, and I'm getting pretty far with it now. So I can't exactly remember when my last performance was, but my proper professional one was a year ago.
So we'll go back to a year ago when you did your first professional. How did it feel for you the first time you did it? Like when you got up on stage and obviously it probably wasn't your first performance. Not first performance overall, but first one on a professional level. So how did that feel for you? And like what kind of exhilaration did you? What feelings? What were you feeling when you were doing that first professional performance?
I felt I was at home.
Yep.
I felt I was at home, and that was where I was meant to be. And it's just exhilarating. You can't explain. It's just the best feeling ever. I felt like finally I'm doing what I love. I'm accomplishing what I'm meant to be doing. And it was a very surreal moment. It was my showcase. It was several other artists performing, and I performed 3 covers. Yep. And it was just an amazing night. I loved it.
How much, when you did that first performance and after it, we did much of like, say, your family and that, were you thinking like much about like what had got you to that, what had led you up to that moment? Did you think back about like all the experiences that you had leading up to that moment?
I felt like it all rolled. It sort of prepared me for that moment.
Yep.
All the times I was in bands, I was a background singer, I was a lead singer. Any performances I've ever done, I felt that was like one of my major accomplishments. Yep. And the thing that I thought of was my dad, because he was such a passionate musician, and I feel like he's passed away. He passed away a year ago. And I feel like in some way, like he's made that happen for me. He's guided me to that direction. Like, just do this. He was a very stubborn and headstrong man, and he used to push me to my limits. And I felt like in this incident he's pushed me to go forward.
And I suppose, like, so clearly family is probably one of your big driving factors.
Massive, yeah.
The type of music that you do, where do you get? Is family pretty much most of the inspiration from the music do, or do you get? Do you have other influences that have kind of...
I do, yeah. I have a few, actually. My dad loved Pink Floyd.
Yep.
He used to heavily listen to them, like, all the time. I know all their songs, and I grew up with their songs. And also, one of mine was Mariah Carey. Yep. And Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner and all those powerhouse singers, and I feel like... my style of music is a blend of all theirs into one, all their, like, the genre and just style. Yeah, I feel it's been a major influence in my life.
How does, like, singing that kind of music that can be so powerful, how does that feel when you're singing that, whether it's either on stage or... Do you mean
the covers or my originals?
Well, let's talk about the covers first. How does it feel when you're doing just singing, like doing covers?
Well, I love doing them.
Yep.
I love singing them because they have come from powerful source.
Yep.
And they mean something to me. Yep. I feel like I suffered a lot of anxiety and depression. and I turned to music as my saving grace.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of their lyrics and songs got me through a lot of my hard times. I had a pretty difficult upbringing.
Yep.
And so their songs and their words were pretty powerful to me. They meant a lot.
So you said you struggled, obviously.
Yes.
Which actually, I think one of the most powerful things in itself is actually people actually admitting that.
Yeah.
And going, okay, I'm struggling with something. I need to find some.
It's a very it's a burden of a topic.
Yeah, it's
and I want to break that silence.
It's one of those things, mental health illness that a lot of people I think struggle with. I think though now, because there's a lot more people like yourself obviously doing things to help break that, it's that you're helping the awareness get out there more and more in different kind of cases and different situations, because obviously no one person's situation is the same. Everyone has their own kind of struggles. So when you turn to music, obviously it helped you get through that. What the other part of the question I was going to ask you before, how does it feel for you now that you're actually singing and doing your own music? It's
very liberating. It's all I've ever wanted to do, and I feel like I'm able to get the message across to people of how I feel, my experiences, my struggles, and I want to use that to help somebody. So it's I think a very powerful thing, and I want to be able to change the perception of mental illnesses, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they turn to suicide, and they feel there's no way out. And I'm a survivor of very severe mental illnesses, and there is a way out. You know, there were times where I thought, what's the point of living? But you just have to see that light at the end of the tunnel. You have to find a reason why you're here. You know, you have to find that reason. And I believe I could help people through that, through my songs, me delivering a message of hope to people out there like it did for me. I want to return that.
So the music you're doing now, what's especially in the last year, considering you've been doing more of your original stuff. Have you got any kind of specific, like, obviously you have your background and your family that help. Was there any one moment or any one way when you started doing your own stuff that the light bulb just clicked for you and you went, this is wonderful, I'm now even more motivated to do what I want to do going forward?
Well, I've always wanted to sing my original songs, and basically when I did that showcase, I said to Michelle, who's my producer, Michelle Kroll, he's my producer, my mentor and my vocal coach, and he's produced all my songs. And I said to him, he asked me, what do I want most in this world? And I said, I want to sing my original songs. And that was like basically the break of the ice that just got the ball rolling, basically. And that's all I do. I'm an original artist.
So do you think having like that break, having that moment where you pretty much just said, this is what I want to do, and just having that realization, do you think that was for you, like empowering yourself and giving you that moment to go, this is what we're going to do. This is what I love doing best. Like, this is what I really want to do. And you basically, from there you go.
It was my everything. I mean, I've been doing covers and I've been writing songs since I was 13, but I never ever imagined that I would be releasing an EP. Like, even though that's your dream and that's where you want to go, it's just wow. It's a wow moment. It's like, am I actually going to release my own song? It was a very big moment. And when we actually released my EP, I couldn't believe it. You know, you want it, and I've wanted it my whole life, but I didn't expect it. You know what I mean? I just knew that I had to work hard to get there.
How much hard work do you think you've had to do to get to it? Like, are there things you've had to talk about? Like, one of the things I think a lot of people don't realise when they're trying to achieve and get to a certain point for something to motivate, people struggle with like sacrificing.
Talk
about some of those. Like, what do you think you've had to like sacrifice to be able to do what you want to do now?
Well, for starters, I had to go out on my own.
Yep.
I've had to rely on myself. Unfortunately, you can't rely on everybody. If you want something, you have to get it yourself.
Yep.
So my biggest thing was taking action, and once I took that action, then like everything I've done, I've went for by myself.
Yep.
And then that's when the ball got rolling, you know, and it was just very surreal when it started happening. I just thought, I did this myself.
Yep.
I didn't need anybody else to get me there. The problem was I relied so much on band members that it actually holds you back. It actually stops you from really pursuing what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean,
and that was my motivation, is take action. Just do it.
Yep.
Don't wait on someone to give you permission or, you know, someone's advice on should I. You have to just do it.
How much do you have like a moment when so it was obviously probably when you said, I think you said when your dad unfortunately passed away, you basically said that was the time when you thought,
like, I mean, I've wanted to do this forever. I wanted to leave school for music, but when I started pursuing it professionally, it was a year ago when we started my original tracks. That's when it was like, I have to do this. There is no waiting any longer.
Yeah.
I have to do this with everything.
So what does the future hold for you? So what's the plans for you going forward?
I feel like it's looking very bright. I've released my 5-track EP.
Yep.
End of May this year. Now I am about to. Michelle and I, we're working on my new single.
Yep.
It's called The Storm.
Yep.
And that's basically about having a voice, having an opinion, and having it count.
Yep.
Like, a lot of people, they struggle to say what they feel, and they struggle to talk about things that are important to them. And I want to be this person to give somebody a voice, or allow that somebody to have a voice. And we are starting to record that tomorrow.
Yep.
And it'll probably be released in December this year. And also my new EP, my second EP, will be released next year. And, you know, one of my biggest goals is to tour. You know, I'm at the moment promoting my songs. I'm promoting from every avenue, every aspect.
Yep.
And I've gained quite a lot of followers.
Yep.
So that's my mission at the moment, is promoting and releasing my new single, and working towards the goal of touring and being an advocate for mental illness.
Yep.
And I just want to be recognised as somebody that is going to change people's lives. I know it's not going to take one person, but I feel like if I can also contribute, it becomes like a domino effect, and then one person will listen to the other person, and, you know, just sort of interlink, if that makes sense, you know, and just help each other, and just, that's my biggest mission, is to help people through music.
So how does it feel now, knowing that you've got more and more people following and listening to your music? Because not only because they like obviously how it sounds, but also obviously the message you're trying to. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very privileged and honoured, and I feel like if somebody out there is listening to my songs and listening to the lyrics, you know, and taking into account what I'm trying to say, for me that's already mission complete, because I'm changing somebody's life one way or another. And my second EP is very heavily involved with the mental illness side of things, but there's a silver lining. There's a positive outline with all my songs. Basically, they're my experiences that are relatable
Yep.
to other people with a positive outcome. So there is no, it's not like singing about depression or anything. It's my struggles and how I overcame them,
Yep.
basically.
So one of the things you mentioned before is, which you want to do as part of your music, you want to help people you want people to help get their voice so they can get. How do you think someone can actually go about, like, if they're in that period, how do you think they can go about getting their voice, and how do you think like how do you think your music, obviously your music, because of your experience, is going to have a profound impact on a lot of people. How do you think like people can go about like getting their voice and learning?
Well, when I was going through my struggles and I've turned to music, for some reason the lyrics I'd get a feeling inside. It helped me. It really did. And I want people, the message across is for people to be able to stand up for themselves.
Yep.
One of the worst things is to feel like a doormat, to feel like they're not being heard, to feel like that they're not important. And I don't like, my message to get across is nobody is worthless.
Yep.
Everybody is important and important enough to have a say in what they believe in. And the point of the message, the song is to believe in yourself and just stand up for yourself. You can do this. You've got this. Don't listen to anybody put you down. You know, just stand up for what you believe in. Be true to yourself, basically.
Do you think it's a case of people wanting to basically pursue their passions and be themselves? Do you think if they find who they truly are and find the passions, whether it's music or any other, whatever it may be, do you think if people find their passion in life, do you think that is a major factor in having a better attitude to a better attitude to just everyday life in general?
I believe so, because if you are pursuing something you love, that comes from within, and it's something that I believe when you love something, you're born with that love. And for me, it was music, and I am a better person because of it, because it's not only about the songs. I'm trying to help. You know, it's helping through music. So I really believe it could, give that positive energy, positive vibe to people, to motivate them to do something about what they love. So I truly believe that. And it has for me. It's done that for me. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
How much are you going to enjoy recording the new single?
Oh my God,
I'm
gonna love it, because it's quite a powerhouse track. It starts off, quite soft, but it builds up and accelerates towards the end, because the whole point of it is it's meant to be like, I'm the voice here, I'm speaking for you. I want you to speak for yourself, so I'm very excited, and we start that tomorrow. The instrumental side of it first.
I think that's going to be, so obviously with that, and obviously you're going to want to take that and do your own shows going forward. How do you think that's going to feel when, I think that when the opportunity comes to actually perform that live?
It's going to be amazing. I'm actually going to perform it live for Fast Track Talent Showcase. In the grand final for that. And I've decided to do that song. So it'll be like a single release that night, and it's going to be, I'm hoping I can connect with individuals, because I think it is a perfect song to connect with people and to relate with. I truly believe that.
Well, I think one of the best things is just the look and the excitement you have on your face about doing that.
It's a dream come true.
It looks pretty like wonderful.
Thank you.
Just the glow you have when you talk about everything that's like going about what you're doing going forward.
It means so much to me. It really does.
It it clearly has like a very personal meaning to you and a very profound impact.
Yep.
Obviously, from what the experience you've had previously, and obviously the effects of those closest to you around, it's clear. I think when you actually decide to do it, the drive you have to do what you do, I think is very much going to come out when you actually do that performance.
I can't wait. I was you know, one of those people, you know, back in school as well. I didn't have that voice. I was you know, scared to stick up for myself. I'm not like that today, and that's why I feel like I'd be like an advocate for somebody else, because I was that kid that was, you know, bullied and beaten and abused, all that. I've been through all that stuff, and I've come out on a positive note. And through those experiences, I believe that I could help somebody else that are struggling.
Well, with the more people who keep following you, obviously, clearly you're having a much greater impact and your message is clearly getting across. So I think only going forward, it's only going to get bigger, the message and the people it's only going to get bigger and better and better and better. So it shows like what you want to do, I think is wonderful.
Thanks
and
so much.
everyone is going to look forward to it. So thank you. Sorry, what else were you going to say? Keep going.
I was just going to say, you know, I'm not going to stop. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to do whatever it takes, even with rejections, whatever comes my way, I have to do this because it's the only thing I want to do. And I just wanted to say thank you for having me on your show. I feel very honoured and privileged to be here. So.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you very much, Zsuzsika.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
How's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So I have a website, Zsuzsika Lensces Music. I'll spell it out. So it's ZSUZSIKA Lensces LENCSES. Music.com. I also have Zsuzsika Lensces Music on Facebook, so you can follow me on that, and on Instagram. And also all my songs are on all the major music platforms like Spotify, Deezer, all those platforms, so you can find me on that. And I'm on YouTube as well as Zsuzsika Lensces Music, so you'll find my unplugged video clips on that.